looking at you. So we're going to start as we usually do anyway, remind ourselves of that corset muscle. So feet hip width apart, really evenly distribute the weight within the feet and within the foot. So we're not leaning out or leaning in or over on one side, over the other. So we're just going to rock the weight forwards over the balls of the feet. Feel that corset muscle contract as we do that to stop us tippling over. Somebody else in the waiting room, so just carry on with that rocking. Re-familiarize ourselves with that sensation. And on this next one, we're going to lean in forward, high palm. And then we're going to come back, weight evenly distributed throughout the feet, throughout the foot, and just start with some pelvic tilts. So we're just going to pop in a really nice soft bend into the knee, hands on the hip, and then it's a real squeeze of the tailbone between the legs, engaging through the glutes, and then sticking that bottom out behind. So just really trying to find some mobility into that lower back area, which is also a bit stiff on my back at the moment. So that's rocking that pelvis forwards and backwards. And then trying to find that in-between point. So we're just going to slightly tuck that tailbone under, hip bone's nice and level, and we're going to take it into our first roll down. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to pick up the bands. So we've found our neutral pelvis. We've got that slight core engagement going on. We're going to bring the arms out to about 45 degrees, keeping that neutral pelvis, so that slight tuck of the tailbone, so we don't arch the spine. We're going to bring the band up and over the head. Getting a really nice opening of the chest as the band comes down the back of the back. Really feel that lovely stretch across the front of the body. And then inhaling, coming back up and back over. Really try to keep that tailbone tucked between the legs. We'll just do a couple more of these. Mobilize through that shoulder joint. That feels really nice. And then bringing it back, we're going to leave the band up above the head on this one and take it down laterally to the side. So just start to pull the band down, bring that arm over, finding some length between the top of the hip and the bottom rib. And then exhale as we pull ourselves back to center using those obliques, and then back down, up and over to the other side. And then bring it back to center again. We're going to bring the band down in front and take it into our first roll down. So just relaxing the arms down to the side, still hanging onto the band there. Take a nice inhale breath, and as we exhale, start to bring the chin towards the chest and just gently feel that peeling sensation away from that imaginary brick wall behind us. Keep the tailbone tucked under for as long as possible. Really find some distance between the vertebrae, and then at the bottom we're just going to hang. So just allow the head and shoulders and arms to come down, feeling that stretch into the back of the leg, maybe into the lower back, into the calves. Just let everything flop, and take some nice deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Really try to switch that upper body off. Make sure the neck's relaxed, maybe just nod the head, shake the head, just to really switch those neck muscles off. And then laying the band flat down onto the floor, we're just going to take a step into the center of the band. Take an inhale breath here, and then start to bring the tailbone again back between the legs, and just allow the spine to follow, rolling back up, rolling back out. You'll have to start to pull against the tension of the band as we start to restack and rebuild, and then just really slide those shoulder blades down the back of the back. Sorry, just letting somebody else in. So shoulder blades down the back of the back. We're going to just work on a nice little neck stretch now. Whoops, we fell open. So anchoring the shoulders, we're just going to bring the right ear down towards the right shoulder, lifting the top of the left ear up towards the ceiling, finding that length into the left-hand side of the neck. Nice deep breaths. And then just bringing the chin towards the chest, rolling the head through center. And then over to the other side, bringing the top of the right ear up towards the ceiling. Make sure that right shoulder's anchored down. And then bring it back to center again, chin to chest. Let's take it into another roll down. So inhale, breath, exhale, breath. Start to peel away from that brick wall behind. One vertebrae at a time. Tailbone stays tucked under for as long as possible. And then we're just coming down to that flop at the bottom. Getting that stretch all the way down the back of the body. Nice circular breath going in through the nose, out through the mouth. On that exhale breath, see if you can go a little bit deeper into the stretch. And then we're going to start to rebuild again. So again, leading with the pelvis first, start to peel the tummy away from the thighs as we start to bring that tailbone between the legs. Just let those arms dangle. Start to pull against the tension of the band. And then when we do reach the top, nice big shoulder roll and slide those shoulders back down the back of the back. Well done. Now standing off the band, we're going to take the hands a bit close together, so shoulder width apart. So we're using a band at the moment. It's not essential, but if you've got one, great. We're going to slide the feet out to quite a bit further than hip width apart. Again, tailbone stays tucked under. We're going to take the band up and over the head and then come down into a nice deep squat. So we're just going to bend through the knees traveling out over the toes, spine stays upright. So imagine you've got a book balancing on the top of the head, and then exhale, driving out through the heels from that squat, lifting that band back up and over the head. So just applying a little bit of tension through the band as we come down, working those lats just to chest, and then exhale as we come back up towards the ceiling. Let's do a couple more of those. Nice full body stretch at the top. So spine stays upright. Remember that book on top of the head. Exhale as we come back up. And last one. Coming down, knees traveling out, make sure they don't collapse in. We're going to stay down on this one and just go up for a heel raise, right heel raise or left heel, doesn't matter, left heel raise. Let's do one more to each side, feeling that stretch into the inner thighs. Last one, both heels down and then pressing out of that squat. Reaching up towards the ceiling and then bringing the arms down to the side. We can lose the band for a second. We might pick it back up when we come down to the floor. So coming back to the back of the mat, we're going to do our roll down to walk out to plank. So I'm just going to alter my camera so you can see my mat. Okay. So again, arms relaxed down the side, collarbones out nice and wide. Hands just dangling. Take an inhale breath to prepare. As we exhale, bringing that chin towards the chest. Think about lengthening through the back of the neck first, leaving the tailbone tucked under until that last possible second. So just think about creating space between the vertebrae. Knees stay nice and soft. Rolling down. If we're not quite at the floor with the hands, this is where we pop that bend into the knee, bringing the palms nice and flat to the floor, and we're going to walk it out down the mat into our plank hold. So bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders, spreading the fingers, press the floor away with the palms of the hands. Make sure that bottom is in line with the body. We're just going to hold our plank for 4 breaths. So in through the nose, out through the mouth, waking everything up. If it's too much, come down into that 3/4 plank. So just bringing the knees down onto the floor. Last 2. Again, remember to really press that floor away. And last one, in through the nose, Like good planks, everyone. Out through the mouth. Bring the knees down if they're not already down. Have a little sit back there into the heels. Leave the hands where they are and just bring the forehead down towards the floor. Make sure the bottom's as close to the heels as you can get it. And again, nice deep breaths, really expanding across the back of the rib cage on that inhale breath. And then losing yourself down further into the stretch on the exhale. And then we're going to fold up onto all fours, bringing those wrists underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. So I'm going to give you a couple of options for this one. So tucking the toes underneath, level 1, exhale breath, we're going to come up onto the knees. We're going to hold for a breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Bring those knees gently back down to the floor. So that's your level 1 exercise. Level 2, we're going to start in a knee hover position, and then we're going to come up, bringing the bottom up towards the ceiling, bringing the head between the arms, pressing back into the heels, into that downward dog, downward dog, and then bringing it back into that knee hover. So the knees don't come down onto the floor for our level 2 exercise. So it's either a simple knee hover and back down, or really reaching that bottom up towards the ceiling, press the heels back down into the floor as the head comes between the arms. Get that lovely stretch into the back of the legs and then back into our knee hover. We're going to go for 4 more. So pick your level. Exhale, pressing up. Sit back into those heels. Bring that head between the arms if we're into our level 2. If we're at level 1, just bringing the knees a couple of centimeters away from the floor and holding for a breath, and then back down to the knees. Last 2. So really reach that bottom up and then press them heels back towards the floor. And then back into our little knee hover. Level 2. Last one. I think we've done probably more than 4 there. So bottom comes up. Press it back, lovely Kina. And shoulders back over wrists. Come down into that knee hover. Bring the knees down to the floor. Nice and gently untuck the toes. And again, sit back into the heels. Take a little walk forward with the arms there, with the hands. Bring the forehead down towards the mat. And let's take it out laterally now. So just keeping the bottom nice and close to the heels. Just walk the hands as far away from the body as possible into that nice lateral side bend. Feeling the stretch into the side of the waist. Nice. And then bring it back through the center, all the way through and over. Again, keeping that bottom nice and close to the heels. Put one hand on top of the other. Just really enjoy that stretch. Again, on the inhale breath, really feel the rib cage expand. Fill the lungs. And then bring it back to center. Now we've worked laterally. We're going to do a bit of rotation, add some rotation in. So face the front for this one. So wrists underneath shoulders. We're going to step the right foot up next to the outside of the right hand. So level 1, the left leg and knee stays down on the floor. Level 2, we're going to bring that left knee away from the floor. So almost like a plank position. So getting just a little bit of an extra stretch into the hip there. And then lifting the right hand away from the mat. We're going to reach up towards the ceiling, taking the gaze with the hand. A lovely bit of rotation there. And then bring the hand back down. Place it next to that right foot. Exactly the same for level 1, just that left knee stays down on the floor. So reaching up, rotating into that front knee and then coming back down, placing that hand back underneath the shoulder. Let's do 2 more on this side. Last one on this side. Reaching up, try not to take the arm beyond the shoulder, and then placing that right hand down. Bring that left knee down if it's up off the floor. Come back into that 4-point kneeling. Sit back into the heels again, into that child's pose position. And then we're going to come back up and do the other side. So again, bring those shoulders over the wrists, spread the fingers. Left foot this time comes the outside of the left hand. Right knee stays down for level 1. And we're going to reach the hand up towards the ceiling. Reach, really rotating with the spine and back down. If you want to take it up a little bit more of a level, get that nice hip stretch in as well. Just lift that right knee away from the floor into a nice wide lunge position. And back down. Let's go for 3 more. Last one. Bring that hand back underneath the wrist. Bring the back knee down onto the floor. Bring that leg back down and have a little sit back into the heels, stretching through the spine. And then we're going to take it towards the front of the mat to make our way down onto our backs. So starting nice and tall with the spine on the sit bones. Have a wiggle around, find them sit bones. So basically we want to be stacked on top of the pelvis, the rib cage, crown of the head towards the ceiling. We'll start with hands behind the thighs. Taking an inhale breath here as we exhale. Pelvis always leads, so really scoop that tailbone under and aim to get the waistband of the trousers as close to the floor as we can. When we reach that point where the arms won't extend anymore, inhale breath, and as we exhale, we're tilting back up. So really scooping out those lower abdominals and lengthening when we reach the top of those sit bones. So nice and tall, really bring that chest through. Inhale breath again, exhale breath, rolling onto the back of the sit bones, the back of the pelvis. If you want to remove the hands from behind the thighs because you want to go down that little bit further, challenge the core a little bit more. Inhale breath, exhale breath, coming back up and lengthening at the top. Let's go for a few more of these, just mobilizing through the spine, working those pelvic tilts. By all means, keep the hands behind the thigh if you just stop using it for a little bit of assistance to get back up. Reaching nice and tall at the top, really extending at the top. Last 2. Inhale breath when we get down there. You'll feel that the heels want to raise off the floor. And really finding that stretch in that lumbar spine. Exactly what I need at the moment. Told you it was a selfish class tonight. And then coming back up to seated, lengthening at the top. Lovely. Now, we're going to use the band this time to wrap the band over the right foot. If you haven't got a band, don't worry about it. You can hold on to that right leg. But if you have got a band or a dressing gown, rope or something, that would be handy. So again, this time, so we're going to extend through the right leg and then do exactly the same thing. So that pelvic tilt, but as the spine starts to come down, the leg comes up. So we're almost using the band to assist our roll down and placing one vertebrae at a time. If you haven't got a band, just grab hold of the leg And as that spine comes down to the floor, just add that gentle pull of the leg. So we're getting a really nice leg stretch there. And then we're going to come back up. So using the leg or the band to assist, chin comes towards the chest and we start to peel ourselves back up into seated, bringing that leg back down, lengthening the spine at the top. I'll show you without a band. So grab hold of the leg wherever feels most comfortable and just use the leg to help with that roll down as we place the vertebrae down on the floor. Gentle pull. Don't worry if the leg's not completely straight either. We're just aiming to get that lovely stretch into the back of the leg. So really press that leg into the hand as we roll back up. Let's go for one more on this side. Inhale breath. Exhale breath as we come down. Really control the spine down. Cool. Lovely. When we reach the bottom, we're just going to enjoy that leg stretch for a second. And then we're going to bring the leg out to the side. So if you haven't got a band, just support the weight of the leg with the hand. So the leg's coming out to the side. If you've got a band, just allow the foot to fall into the band. And then we're going to bring it back through the center. So the leg comes through center, keeping both shoulder blades down on the floor. If you've got the band, keep the foot in the band. And then we're just going to bring the leg up and over, rotating so the pelvis will peel away from the floor, but just keep the shoulder blades in contact with the mat. And then pulling the leg back to center, whether it's in a band or not in a band. And then bend through the knee. Just give the knee a little hug towards the shoulder and place that right foot down on the floor. We're doing exactly the same on the other side now. So if we have band, pop that over other foot, left foot. So again, extend the leg up towards the ceiling. If not, just holding the leg, gentle pull, feeling that stretch down the calf, down the hamstring. Inhale breath here. As we exhale, chin comes towards the chest. Assisted roll up, either with the hands against the leg or holding onto the back. Peeling the spine back up. Nice up. Lengthening at the top and then back down again. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Lovely stretch at the bottom. Last one. Chin comes towards the chest. Use the leg. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. When we reach the top of those sit bones, last roll down. Head comes down onto the mat. We're going to go out to the side, so away from the body first. So just allow the foot to fall into the band or just assist with that left arm so we don't overstretch. Enjoy that inner thigh stretch. Bringing the leg back through the center. Shoulder blades stay in contact with the floor as the left side of the pelvis comes up away from the floor. Shoulders remain down. And finally, bring that leg back to center, bending through the knee. Just bring the knee towards that left shoulder, release off that hip flexor. And then bring the foot down to the floor. So next exercise, one I haven't done for a little while, is the 100, everybody's favourite. So again, making sure we have that lovely neutral pelvis, hip bones and pubic bone on the same level. Transverse corset muscle is engaged and collarbones are out nice and wide. So the shoulders are down the back of the back. We're going to reach the arms down the side of the body. We're going to exhale our first leg up into tabletop position without any movement from the pelvis. Exhale, second leg comes up. No lift from the spine, no shift in the pelvis, so nice and strong through the core. And we're going to start to pulse the arms, inhaling for 5 pulses, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5. Really strong arms, strong wrists. That's our level 1, head stays down. Level 2, we're going to reach those arms forwards, peeling those shoulder blades away from the floor. In 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Level 3, lengthen out through the legs. Really deep breaths. Really strong arms. Let's get the blood pumping. We're halfway there. 6, 7, 8, 9. Last 5 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. Well done. Bring the head and shoulders down. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Relax those abdominals for a second and have a little roll. I used to do the 100 in every single class. I think I can't talk and do it at the same time that I've stopped. Well done. So bringing the feet down onto the floor, keeping that lovely neutral pelvis, so keeping that corset muscle switched on. We're going to bring the hands behind the head now. We're going to work across the waist, so keeping the knees nice and still. Imagine you've got a glass of water on each knee. So we're going to, the left elbow is going to stay connected with the floor as the right elbow comes up and over towards the left knee. So work that rotation of the top part of the spine. Then we're going to reach the right hand to the outside of the left knee. And then bring the hand back behind the head and lower the shoulders back down onto the floor, head and shoulders. So it's an exhale breath. We come up and over. Inhale, we reach. Hand comes next to the outside of the left knee. Hand comes back and we control it down. So the hands are there just to support the weight of the head. Try not to pull up on the neck. And reach. So really reach. See if we can reach past the left knee and lower it back down. What we're looking for is really shortening the distance between that bottom right rib and the top of the left hip. Hand comes back and lower it back down. Let's go 4 more. Exhaling up and over, and then add that reach. Bring the hand back and lower back with control. Last 3. Exhale it up. Inhale, reach. Hand comes back and lower it back down. Last one. Exhaling it up and over. We're going to reach, we're going to stay, and we're going to pull. It's almost like you're trying to saw off that left leg. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand comes back and lower it all back down to the floor with control. Well done. Whew. That one got me. Right, other side now. So knees stay nice and still. Right elbow stays connected with the floor. We're coming up and over with that left elbow and reach past the right knee and then bring the hand back and lower down with control. Exhaling up. Try not to rush through it. Reach. Hand comes back and lower it back down. Keep those knees as steady as we can. Just looking to find that lovely rotation so the pelvis stays nice and still throughout. Last 3 after this one. Try not to rock from side to side of the pelvis. Lift up and over. Reach beyond the knee if we can. Last 2. Reach and comes back and lower it back down. Last one, let's pulse it on this last one. I'll do a really nice stretch after this one. Up and over. Reach, and we're going to soar off the outside of that right leg for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ouch. Hand comes back. Lower back down with control. Well done. Bring the arms out to the side, palms facing up towards the ceiling. We're going to straddle the mat with the feet, so nice and wide through the legs, and then just rolling the knees in one direction. Try to keep the back of the pelvis as close to the floor as we can. Roll the head in the opposite direction. So really trying to get that diagonal stretch across the waist. Again, don't forget those lovely deep breaths, widening the rib cage. And then bringing the head and the knees back through the center. We're going over to the other side. So rolling the head away from the knees. Try to get the knees as close to the floor as we can, but keep the pelvis as close to the mat as we can as well. I know it will lift slightly. And then bring everything back to center. We're just going to do a couple of shoulder bridges now. So bringing the feet back onto the floor, onto the mat rather. Heels a little bit closer to the bottom. Knees still hip distance apart, but imagining we have the tennis ball in between the knees. So the arms reach down the side of the body. We're going to go for a lovely neutral pelvis to an imprint. So lifting the pubic bone higher than the hip bones. And then just start to gently peel the spine away from the floor, squeezing the hips at the top to get that nice stretch down the hip. Holding there. Inhale breath, exhale breath as we slowly articulate the spine all the way back down, keeping the grip on that tennis ball. And then back to that neutral pelvis. Pubic bone, hip bones level. Inhale breath, exhale. So imprinting down, lifting the pubic bone up. So we're getting that pelvic tilt in. Heel the spine up. Press the hips up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the glutes. Inhale breath, exhale breath. Keep those knees nice and still as we slowly bring that spine back down with control. Go for one more. Neutral pelvis, imprint that spine, lift, make up, squeeze those hips up towards the ceiling. Take a nice inhale breath here. We're going to bring the arms up and over the head. Reach the arms behind the head and imagine somebody's pulling the hands away from the body. So the shoulders will come up nice and close to the ears. Keeping that pull on the hands, we're going to release back down. So think about lengthening the spine all the way down onto the mat, one vertebrae at a time. With that pull of the arms behind you, should be a really nice release there on the spine. And then back to neutral. Well done. Just grab hold of one knee, grab hold of your other knee, and just gently pull the knees up towards the shoulders. Have a little rock from side to side. Then we are going to come down onto our side. So into side lying. We're going to work nice, simple climb tonight for side of the hip. So making sure the hips are stacked one on top of the other, core switched on to keep those hips nice and still. So if there's a wall behind us, the spine would be against the wall, the bottom would be against the wall, and the soles of the feet would also be against the wall. We're going to go straight to elevated climb. So we're just going to lift the feet away from the floor, keeping the hips nice and still. We're just opening up the hips, squeeze that hip open without rolling back on the hip, if you know what I mean. So keep that pelvis nice and still. When you think you've reached the top of that climb, just try and squeeze out another couple of inches without movement from the pelvis. So really controlling all the way up and all the way down. Nice, Jill. Lovely, Seb. Keep those feet elevated, that's it. So, level 1, we're going to stay here. Level 2, we're going to add an extension of the leg at the top. So we're going to get to the top of that opening, squeeze out those extra couple of inches, and then lengthen through the leg, shooting energy out through the toes. So really reach that leg away, and then bring those heels back together again. And then think about squeezing a balloon in between the thighs as we lower the legs back together. So really reach, thigh stays where it is. Adding a little bit of weight into that lever, making that glute med work a little bit harder. You'll also feel this slightly in the underneath glute here. That's working hard to keep that elevation of the foot. Double whammy. Let's go for 2 more. Lovely. Open, and then really extend. Really engage through the quad as we reach that leg away. Bring the heels together. Squeeze the knees together. Perfect. Last one. Open. Extend. Reach, reach, reach. Bring those heels first. Squeeze the knees. And then bring the feet back down onto the floor with control. Well done. Nice little spine twist on our side now. So bringing that bottom arm out underneath. Shoulders stacked one on top of the other. One hand on top of the other. Either a pillow block or just relaxing the head down. So relaxing the neck. We're going to do that open book stretch. So take a nice inhale breath to prepare as we exhale. Really trace a really big semicircle with this hand, going up and over, keeping the gaze to this moving hand, and aim for shoulder blades as close to the floor as we can, really opening up the chest. Nice deep breaths, expand that rib cage. And then we're going to come all the way back. So nice inhale, breath to prepare. As we exhale, think about using those obliques that join rib to opposite hip. Sweep the ceiling on the way. Bring the hands back together. Take an inhale breath, exhale breath. We're going to slide this top hand as far away as we can from the body. And just relax into that one. And then bringing the hands back together again. Well done. We're going to come up onto the elbow now to do a little bit more work on obliques. So just making sure that elbow is directly underneath the shoulder. Shoulder is away from the ear. Level 1. We're going to lift the hips away from the floor. Reach the top arm up towards the ceiling. So modified side plank. And then lower back down. So we're really squeezing those hips up. Level 2, we can extend this top leg and do the same thing again. Just squeezing those hips up towards the ceiling and lowering back down. Keeping this supporting shoulder away from the ear. if you find it a little bit of a strain on the neck, just take the gaze down towards the floor and lower it back down. Then of course we've got full side plank, so just extend that bottom leg as well, so everything comes up. And then lower back down with control. Try not to crash down. So remember to take it at your level. I'm going to go in at 2 tonight. You can feel that over back a little bit. And last 2. Squeezing those hips up. Really try to create some rolls on this underneath side of the waist. Last one. Again, remember, if you're feeling it in the neck a little bit, just take that gaze down towards the floor. Lift. And lower. With control. Well done. Coming up onto the bottom, we'll just counteract that with a nice mermaid stretch. So just grabbing hold of the ankles. We're just going to reach that arm over the head, create some length into that underneath side of the waist. And then bring it back to center. Well done. Back to a bit more rotation now. We're going to come into seated again, nice and tall on top of those sit bones. Extending that right leg out, nice and straight. We're going to bring the left foot, wrong way around, sorry. So right leg out straight, left foot to the inside of the right thigh. We're going to work that half saw position. So arms come out level with the shoulders. We're going to rotate towards the straight leg and then try and aim to saw off the little toe, reaching for the little toe. 3 pulses. 3. Bring it back through the center. So unravel through the center. Bring this left hand down. Reach the right arm behind and really press those hips through. And then control it back down. So we're going to go for 3 more on this side. So rotating through the center of the spine, nice and tall. Reaching for 3 little pulses. Perfect. We're going to unravel, nice and tall. Hand comes down. Reach and press the hips up. Lovely, Linda. Fab. I love this modified saw, much nicer than normal saw. Last 2. And comes down. Point those fingers away and just reach up to the corner of the room. Really create some room down that right hand side of the body. Last one. We do exactly the same on the other side. Just a reach for 3, 2, 1. Through the middle. And comes down. Arm reaches behind. Press those hips forwards. Lovely. And lower with control. Well done. And then just a switch of the legs. Same thing on the other side. So again, find those sit bones, a little wiggle. Arms level with the shoulders. So we're rotating into this left leg. We're reaching forwards. A little ballistic pulse there. And then bring the arms through the center, hands behind, and press. Lovely, Abby. You look like ballerinas. So rotate and reach. 2, 3. Unravel. And comes down. Press those hips. Really find that lovely hip stretch there as well. And last 2. Remember to exhale on those pulses. Really get rid of all the air in the lungs. Keep that supporting right shoulder nice and strong as well. Well away from the ear. And last one. And comes down. Really press those hips through. Perfect. And lower back down with control. And then we're coming down onto our other side for our clam. So again, imagine that brick wall behind us. The spine would be against it. The soles of the feet would be against it. Ideally, head could be doing, we should be on the arm, so we're all nicely lined up, but I can't see the full screen if I do that. So hips are stacked, core switched on, keeping those hips fixed. We're elevating, so you'll feel it a little bit in that underneath glute, and then we're opening up the hip without any movement from the pelvis. Remember those last couple of centimeters when you think you've reached the top. Just try to squeeze out that little extra. That's it, perfect. And again, if you can, just try to visualize squeezing a balloon on the way back down. That will automatically engage those inner thighs for you as well. It's a double whammy. So if you want to stay at level 1, that's fine. If you want to go to level 2, making that a little bit of an extra challenge, we're really going to extend through that top leg, bring the heels back, bring the knees back. Perfect. And reach. Last 4. Reach. Last 3, nearly there. And then we'll do that lovely open book stretch on this side as well. 2 to go. Heels and knees. Lovely. Last one. Exhale, breath. Open up. Extend. Reach, reach, reach. Lovely. Bring those heels back. Bring those knees back together and just gently lower those feet back down to the floor. Well done. Bringing out that underneath arm. We're going to have a little shuffle. So the shoulders as well as the hips are stacked. One arm on top of the, one hand on top of the other, and just relax the head and neck. Cushion if you want one. Take an inhale breath to prepare. As we exhale, we're going to really reach. Opening up that book, shoulder blades as close to the floor as we can. Really feel it across the chest. And some nice deep breaths when we reach that stretch. Take an inhale breath and we're going to exhale as we bring the arm back over. Bringing those hands back together. Inhale breath here. Exhale breath. Slide that top hand as far away. Imagine somebody pulling the hand away from the body. And then just sliding those hands back together again. Well done. Unfortunately, side plank on this side, I can't send you out wonky. I know it's not everybody's favourite. So just make sure the elbow is directly underneath the shoulder and the shoulder is well away from the ear. Again, if you want to turn the head down towards the floor, just slightly release the neck a little bit. So level 1, we're coming up from the knees, reaching that arm up towards the ceiling, squeezing those hips up. Level 2, we can extend this top leg. So again, keep that supporting shoulder really strong. So just extended that top leg. Or of course, level 3, which I'm not going to do actually because I can feel it a little bit in that lower back, is both legs extended into full side plank. Last 2. And last one, really press those hips up towards the ceiling. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And lower it back down with control. Lovely. Coming up onto the bottom again. We're going to just grab hold of the leg or the ankles, wherever feels most comfortable. And then just bring that arm up and over. Create some length back. And then back over. Well done. So we're going to come down for the last exercise. We're going to roll it back down onto our spines. And we're going to work spine twist on our backs now. It's a nice one to finish with. So bringing those arms out level with the shoulders. Keep the shoulders open, so palms towards the ceiling. Again, nice and neutral through the pelvis. We're going to come up to tabletop with first leg, and then bring that second leg up to join without that spine lifting or pelvis moving. We can zip the knees together. We're going to come up and across with the knees. So inhaling as we lower, shoulder blades stay connected to the floor. So getting a really nice stretch on the way down and really working those obliques as we pull the knees through the center. Try not to let the knees come too close to the chest. The knees should be directly above the hips. Slightly cheating if you're bringing the knees in. If you want to make this a little bit harder, as we come through the center, extend through the right leg if we're going down to the left-hand side. We're just adding a little bit of weight into that lever, making the core work a little bit harder. And then switch, so left leg extends as we come over to the right. So really rolling across that lower back. Or if you want to work even harder, keep both legs extended. Remember to nice and slow, nice and controlled all the way through. And just keep those shoulder blades in contact with the floor. Lovely step. Let's go one more on each side. Really rolling that weight across the lower back. And then back to center, well done. Bending through both knees, bring the knees towards the chest. Little roll around on the lower back. I've got time for my last exercise. Last exercise, so we're bringing the legs back up into tabletop position, both legs together. We're going to go double toe tap now if we can. So main focus of this exercise is to keep that spine down on the floor. So you might not reach the floor with the toes, but we're going to lower both toes down towards the floor, keeping that 90-degree bend behind the knee. You see, I can't reach the floor there because I can feel my spine wanting to lift. So just make sure we always have that connection with the spine against the mat. That's it, lovely. We can add the arms in as well. So bring those arms up towards the ceiling. Anchor the shoulders down to the floor. So as the legs go down, arms can travel back. So we're really working all the way down the core there and then back to center. So just take it down to that point where you know that spine's not going to lift. We're only going to go for 4 more. Inhale as we lower. Exhale as we lift. 3. Last 2. 4. Last one. Inhale, arms back, go back. Exhale, bring the knees towards the chest again. Relax those abdominals. Let's take it out into full body stretch there as well. So feet come down, reach the arms behind the head. reach the feet away from the hands and just peel the spine away from the floor. Find that length down the middle. And again, don't forget those deep breaths. And then bringing the arms down to the side of the body, bringing the feet back up onto the floor. Just a nice glute stretch while we're here. So just bring the right foot across the left knee. Press that right knee out to the side. Again, imprint the spine first, and then lift the left leg up into tabletop position. And perhaps just grab hold of the ankle so we're not putting too much weight into that hip flexor. And just hold it there. So you should feel that stretch, the outside thigh, up into that glute. If you want to deepen the stretch a little bit, again, just peel the spine away from the floor. So push up towards the ceiling. Let's feel that a little bit deeper. And then not forgetting before we place the foot down to press the spine back down to the floor before we release back down with the foot. So we're just going to switch over. Right foot goes down, left foot comes across. Keep that imprint with the spine as we lift into tabletop position. Grabbing hold of the ankle. Peel that spine away from the floor, so pressing up and holding stretch. So basically the hand taking the weight of the leg there, so it's not all on this right hip flexor. And again, not forgetting to press that spine back into the floor before releasing the foot down. We're going to come up into seated. So let's roll up, so arms above the shoulders. You can keep the bend in the knee if you prefer, or straight legs if you prefer. Inhale, breath here. As we exhale, chin comes towards the chest. Peeling the spine away from the floor. That's it. Reach it nice and tall at the top. Widen out through the legs and just reach the chest forward. Reaching the arms as far forward as we can. If you need to, pop a little bend into the knee there. And then just walk the hands back towards the body. We're going to flip around onto all fours again just to finish. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Let's take it into a really lovely cat stretch. So again, if we can, lead with the pelvis, so really tuck the tailbone under, and then press the floor away with the hands. Bring the chin towards the chest. And then again, leading with the pelvis, so just untuck the tailbone and just allow the spine to melt down towards the floor, and then just adding that gentle squeeze of the shoulder blades. Keep those elbows nice and soft. And then we're going to go neutral, so somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. So lengthen through the spine, turning the toes underneath. We're going to have a little sit back into the heels first. Inhale, breath, and then exhale. Lift the knees up, press the heels back. Head comes between the arms. Feeling that lovely stretch into the back of the legs, down the spine. Keep the knees soft though, don't lock the knees. And then just slowly start to walk the hands back, transferring the weight back through the feet, relaxing the neck, relaxing the arms, the forehead, the jaw. Take some nice deep breaths. And then next exhale breath, start to peel the tummy button away from the thighs, drawing towards the spine. Gently start to tuck that tailbone under and just let the spine follow. Rebuild, restart, nice and slowly. When we're back to standing. Again, some really big shoulder rolls there.